Scaphism is the name of the worst method of torture that has ever existed in the history of humanity. The torture was a practice carried out among the ancient Persians, in the place that is now Iran. The person was placed in a boat with a lid, and the boat was custom made, leaving only the head and legs sticking out. They would then give the person an exorbitant amount of honey and milk until their system became upset. In addition, they would fill the boat with honey along with the person, and then the person would be taken inside the boat out into the sun, where they would be left exposed. This would lead to worms in their bodies eating their flesh, along with thousands of mosquitoes and animals feeding on it. Meanwhile, the person would consume more honey to avoid death and extend the pain. Some survived up to 17 days like this. This is the worst method of torture you will ever see in your entire life. It's called tickle torture, but the name has nothing to do with the act itself. This technique started being used in China 200 years before Christ, but the way the Romans did it was much worse. They would tie the person up, coat their feet with honey or salt water, and have goats lick them. The first time was fine because it was really ticklish, but they repeated the process several times without tiring. When a goat spends a long time licking the sole of your foot, it affects several sensitive nerves that we have there. After hours and hours, the person's brain might not function properly and they could go into shock or even die. That's why it's one of the worst torture methods in the world. Part 2. It's called the bronze bull. It was a bull-shaped structure made of bronze with a door on the side. They placed the person inside, lit a fire underneath, and the metal would heat up, roasting them inside. But the strangest part comes next. This structure had an acoustic blowing device that converted the person's desperate screams into a bizarre sound of a bull snorting. One of the worst torture methods in history, Part 3. This method happened in ancient Rome, and it was called the donkey stuffing. It consisted of killing a donkey and opening its belly. They would remove everything inside, put the person in the belly, and sew them in, leaving only the head outside. Then, they would leave the dead donkey, with the person roasting in the sun, and the person would slowly cook inside. That then served as a fine feast for worms and vultures.